stage. We have this, that is the in-depth readiness program that we're giving you. Then we also introduce you to a restricted login session. We're going to have an overview of the documents that are available to you to use at this next stage of the process. All the annexes that are relevant for this stage, we will take you through. And then we will also go through the Memorandum of Understanding. Then we have the questions, the Q&As. Okay. So before colleagues that will handle the technical side comes in, I will be giving you a brief of the process, an update of the process that has happened so far. We opened this call somewhere about a month ago, and then 2 months ago, and we received 438 total number of applications that we received for this third call, from both the cashew and also the other value chains, i.e. maize, livestock, and then cocoa. This is the original distribution of the 438 concept notes that we received. You realize that West and then East Africa dominating, with West Africa 198 applications, and then East Africa 180. Central Africa in there, South Africa, and then we have 7 from the Caribbean. In terms of language distribution, we have 25% of these 438 applications being Anglophone countries, Francophone countries, and then we have 74.8% being the Anglophone, coming from Anglophone countries. In total, 35.45 million euros are being requested from these projects. Let me also say that this 438 that you see here are not actually what the completed concept note or completed application at the concept note level, meaning that we received more than this, but those that submitted completed concept note applications were the 438. Where are we so far? You see from the arrow here, this is where we are so far currently in terms of the process, the full proposal development, and then the in-depth readiness program, meaning that we've had the launch. Of course, some of you might have joined the launch. We had a webinar for the launch, and then you went online to download the concept notes documents required for the application at the concept note stage. You did the application around the 18th of August was the deadline, and then we received this number that I mentioned. We have an assessment.
Please, can you put presenter mode?
I can't hear. Hello.
In presenter mode, then we have the full presentation in presenter mode.
Oh, okay.
You click on your button.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Then we have the assessment of the concept notes. So after the assessments by the EC and then the board's decision, now we are here at the full proposal stage. This is the breakdown of the applications that we received in terms of the country distribution and also the value chain breakdown. So for cashew, 112 applications in total. We have 21 for sheep. We had for maize 156 applications. For goats, we had 26 applications coming in, and then for cattle we have 87. You see here the country distribution for the application, so you can tell the distribution of applications across Africa. Now, applications submitted to the evaluation committee for evaluation. So out of the 436 applications received, we took 143 to the EC. One will ask why 143. So we had the pre-selection stage where we sought out some of the applications that had issues. Some of them did not attach. Some of you, we write to you to attach the relevant documents that we requested at that stage. Some responded, some did not respond. So some of these issues contributed to we arriving at the 143 for the scoring at the EC level. And also, yes, some were dropped based on the eligibility criteria, some applying with no contribution even from the lead applicants, and the rest varied issues. So for cashew, 51 were presented to the EC, that is the evaluation committee for scoring, out of the 61 applications. So 61 were not presented, sorry, and then 51 were presented to the EC, and then 143 presented for the other value chains and then 183 were dropped. Okay. So the process of the evaluation happened on the evaluation workshop happened in Cotonou on the 9th, on the 13th of September in Cotonou. And then we have in total 28 experts from 14 countries to assess the concept notes within 5 days. So you realize that a lot of work went into this. We had a 4-step evaluation process being fully done by these experts from the 14 different countries. The first stage of the evaluation process was where we had individual assessment and with scoring and then feedback. So each of your concept notes were assessed by 2 or more EC members. And then from this stage, we now move to the subgroup discussions where the experts will discuss the various scores from each of the value chains. And then now they would decide or determine which ones should be shortlisted, which ones should we put on waitlist, and which ones to be rejected. And then after this stage, we had the value chain specific plenary for validation and discussion on our selected shortlisted ones. So even after we have selected, we still had a value chain specific plenary session where these experts discussed into details before they had the joint plenary session for the final validation. Then the team had to submit the shortlisted list concept notes to the MGF board, that is our donors, and then we are here today. This is the results where you find yourself in. So in total, out of the 143 for cashew, for other value chains, and then 51 for cashew, both cashew and other value chains, we have a total of 52 concept notes, which you are part from 25 African countries being approved by the board to take part in the last competitive stage, which is the full proposal stage. So 52, we have 4 being ship, concept notes on ship or projects on ship. Maize, 14 of them. Goats, 3 concept notes. Cocoa, we have 7. And then we have 4 for cattle, and cashew, 20 concept notes. I will end here and then now give the floor to our first facilitator, Olivia Bennett, who will take us through the technical side. So the next step from here.
Okay.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you very much, Chris. Good afternoon to you all, and I hope you can hear me very well. Great. Thank you. So I will continue from where Chris has left off, and it still comes back to the timeline and what we want to do at every stage. Sorry, Chris, I cannot. Yeah. So for November, we have planned a number of activities. As you know, by 3rd November, 11:59 p.m., we are expecting that all the full proposals and annexes will be submitted to us for evaluation and next steps. We will provide some kind of feedback also on budget, and here we want to, as much as possible, reduce the time at the end, which usually would do a lot of back and forth with budget meeting the criteria that we have set. So we will try to provide feedback on budget by the second week of November, so that we are all in time when the time comes for contracting. There will also be an assessment of full proposals by the evaluation committee, as we have done for the concept note stage. And then lastly, we are planning an online interview session with the lead applicant and consortium. The idea of the interview mainly will be to also understand the project beyond what has been written and get to know more about the whole project idea through the applicants. We also plan in December to document all the evaluation results, considering the feedback of the evaluation committee and also the feedback from the interviews that we intend to conduct. And then we have a board meeting where the results will be shared with the board, and then a decision will be made. And we are hoping that all the webinars, or this webinar that we are having, is going to provide a lot of information that will help all of us to qualify at the end of the full proposal evaluation. In January, or let me say from this period up until January, we want to start the commercial and legal eligibility checks. And over here, I'm saying from this minute to January, because I know some those on the cashew value chain have by now received some emails regarding this commercial eligibility. Hopefully in the coming weeks or months, the other value chains will also receive this introductory email to the consultant. Knowing how cumbersome contracting is within the GIS scope, we are hoping to have the preparation of the contract start by February, so that by April, all the contracts will start or implementation will start. Next slide. So this will be the only official webinar that we are having to extensively talk about the full proposal and all that we require. However, if you still need some further clarity, we are still open. We can come to your aid based on demand. And so first you can write an email to let us know what exactly you want. And if it's something that can be explained via email, we do so. If there's a need to also set up a meeting to clarify things, we are open. More information on the content or all other things related to this full proposal stage you would find on our website. The first one is the Agri-Business facility website, where you would find information on maize, cocoa, and livestock. The second one on the cashew side is the Matching Grant Fund -com cashew. Next slide. As I already said, if you need specific information or tailor-made support, then of course we are happy to support you, as long as it's towards getting you the best proposal out. We will do our best. But every information that we share is going to be the same thing that we have shared with everybody. Nobody is going to receive much more information than anyone, so it will be general information we share. We are going to talk about the template. If you have issues specifically with regards to the template, we are happy to clarify. If it's also on the budgeting side, how to use the template, which is a bit difficult, then we are happy to guide you on that. And then also, if you have specific questions or need for clarity on specific approaches that we use within the GIZ context, and here I mean the ABF, in terms of capacity development, then we are happy to also offer that once you request for it. Now, on this slide, I'm sure those on the cocoa, maize, and livestock will be very familiar with this, but let me say that we have a login section on our website, the Agri-Business Facility website, which will help you to access all the templates that you need for the full proposal stage. I would like to clarify that this login approach is only it's only for the cocoa, maize, and livestock value chains. However, for those on the cashew value chains, all the templates have been shared via email. So as we go on, we will walk you through how to specifically access the document on the website. By now, I'm sure all the applicants have received the login details. And so we will go on the website and take you through from scratch so that you can easily go through. And if after you still have any questions, of course, we are happy to help you. But for the budget slide, this one has not been uploaded on the website because of the complexity of the document. The budget slide has been shared via email for all the value chains. So this is not only limited to cashew. Yeah. Next slide. Now, at the end of the full proposal stage, we are expecting a number of documents to be submitted to us for us to consider your application successful for evaluation. There are other documents too which will guide you in preparing your documents. And so we have the first one being the application guideline for call for proposal. This has been shared with all of you, where you would see what exactly what information you need as far as the whole process is concerned is there. If we have also the next document, which is a guideline for cost eligibility, it's important to look at what exactly is eligible within the frame of this particular contract that we are going for, as against what is not feasible, so that you are not making room for costs that are not eligible. We also have the full proposal template. We have the KPI for MGF indicators. And then also we have the budget and the memorandum of understanding. Over here, you would see that we have highlighted some documents in green. And by green, we mean that all the documents in green are the ones that you are supposed to send back to us at the end of the process. So by 3rd, or from now up until 3rd November, we are expecting these 4 documents to be sent to us, in addition to all other annexes which are relevant. We also have asked you to provide some other document for the eligibility, commercial and legal eligibility check. When you go into the full proposal template, you will see the breakdown of all the relevant documents that we have asked for. Maybe at this point, I would open the template so that you can clearly see what exactly we are talking about. And if Chris, you would allow me, please take off your screen so that I can share mine. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Great. So as much as possible, we are encouraging that the templates which have been shared with you are the ones that you are supposed to use. And let me also mention that as you complete this document, this full proposal template, you should also take into consideration all the recommendations that have been given. Let that inform the details that you provide in this document as you go by. So on this, we need you to provide the name of the lead applicant, the country, the value chain, the title of the project. So what exactly you are doing, that's the title we are looking for, not business support facility as we have seen in the past. So there is also the table of content. Allow me to skip all these places so that we go into the real deal. On this page, we are asking that you provide information. This is the project details. So we need information on what exactly the project is about, and also by what the project is about, I mean the country, the region, and all other information related to timelines. We also need information on the characteristics of the project, information about the lead applicants, the consortium. Also, we need information about all of them, and then the contact person, which is also very important. Then after that, we have the executive summary, which is mainly a brief description of all that you want to do. As the name says, executive summary, so it should be as brief as possible. And we have tried to limit the characters that you can use here. So that means that you should be direct and very sharp when it comes to capturing this information. So it's just a brief description of all that you want to do. And yeah, as we go along, the next one is background and problem analysis. So you need to talk about what you want to do in your context, making us know what is the current situation, and then other details specific to your context. And then relevance of the project. Here also, we are looking at you describing what the interest of your company is to invest in this project and why this project is innovative. So this is the information that you have to put here with regards to relevance of the project. Now, objectives and outputs. Also, we are expecting that you provide more information on this, what exactly you want to achieve the objectives at the end of the day. We are saying that your objective should be as smart as possible. I think some of you have received that feedback that your objectives should be smart. And so we're expecting that it will come out very strongly here. We then have also stakeholders, target group, direct beneficiaries, and main partners. So who are you targeting? As much as possible, we encourage inclusion to bring in all the relevant stakeholders here to ensure that you are not leaving anyone behind. Methods of implementation. So one thing I want to also draw your attention to is that under each subtopic, we have given a brief description of what exactly we need you to provide. So when you see methods of implementation, we have a brief description there as to what exactly we expect from you. Climate change rationale. Here also, we are expecting that you provide information on adaptation to climate change, reduction of greenhouse gas emission, carbon storage, and carbon equivalent sequestration. And then again, we have project inclusiveness and gender empowerment rationale, which is also very key to us. You provide that information in the box, taking into consideration the maximum number of characters you are allowed. Then complementarity, synergy with other relevant actions. So if you have received any kind of funding, also let us know from the EU, BMZ, other donors, let us know what exactly was the project about. Provide some more information so that we know exactly what, we have an idea of what exactly you have worked on or what exactly you are doing now with other funders. Resource allocation. So let's know as much as possible own expertise that you are bringing on board, where service providers or consultants have to come in. Let's see all this here, and then it also helps us to better understand what exactly you are offering. Yeah. Now, project management team, who are the core people that you are going to implement this particular project with? Let us know. So from your team internally, who are those that you have them on board? Let us know. And then also the information you provide under project management team usually will reflect what you have in the budget. And I'm sure our finance colleagues will come in strongly on that. You should try as much as possible to ensure that the information you have at this site corresponds to what you have in the budget. So if you are making room for 3 of your staff, obviously we should see that also in the budget. And then again, their roles and their tasks should be very clear here. And then sustainability and scalability of the project. As much as possible, we are looking at projects that are going to be sustainable and also scalable in every sense. So describe the growth potential of the project here and describe how to sustain the results you have achieved during the project, even after completion within the matching fund frame. So if the project is for 2 years, beyond the 2 years, how do you intend to keep the project running or the activity running? Then risk assessment. I think over here, it's not enough to just name the risk or anything, but it's also important to let us know the mitigation measures that you are putting in place. Monitoring and evaluation will come in here. We have a separate document also where you can provide some much more details, but you provide some information here. And then reporting and knowledge sharing also. And visibility and communication as much as possible. We are encouraging or we are advising that whenever you're doing any kind of communication, what exactly you have to take into consideration, what you have to take note of in terms of which logos or what exactly you have to put on respective documents. Now, the timing, the project lifespan, or from when to when do you want to implement this particular project? You put that information here. Yeah. And then also with some more information, please explain the seasonality of the project activities if it applies to your project. Otherwise, then you're not obliged to. Then the project indicative work plan as well. You provide all the necessary information here within the time frame that you have set. And then the last one will be your signature. You have to read the declaration of commitment, understand it, and have it signed. Now, additional documents you have to add to this full proposal will be of course, key performance indicator Excel sheet, which we'll be talking about also as we progress. And then the budget as well as the memorandum of understanding. We are also saying that for the upcoming commercial and legal eligibility check, there are some additional documents that you need to provide or you need to share with us. So this is the proof document of your turnover we need to see. Banking information sheet, company profile document, organizational chart, amongst others. So there are a number of documents or annexes that we need to ensure that we have a good overview of your company. Now I will go to the next document, if you allow me, which will be on the memorandum of understanding, and then I will come to the KPI data sheet. So the memorandum of understanding, not so different from what you have done for the letter of intent, but over here, just like you did for the letter of intent, the lead, the consortium partners, we want to know, let us provide some more information on what all the members of the consortium have agreed to implement within the frame of the contract. And then also the purpose overall objective of the consortium, what exactly you intend to do, areas of cooperation, and then also operations, roles, and responsibilities. And so we don't want to see only the lead applicant being projected here. We also want to see the involvement of the consortium partners as much as possible, clearly stated here. Then resources that are going to be brought on board also, we want you to talk about it briefly. In kind and also in cash. Reporting and monitoring, period of agreement. So I think it's very important that everyone within the consortium understands what exactly you are getting yourselves involved in. And then after there is that mutual understanding, you all sign this document. As much as possible, this MOU has to be signed because it also gives us a better assurance that all of you have agreed to work together to achieve the final or the objectives of this particular activity. The next one that I will share here will be the KPI sheet. And please let me know if you can see my screen. Good. So on the KPI data sheet, we have a number of main, or should I say, subtopics, and then we have other things under each one that we are expecting from you. So we have training and capacity building. There are other things under training and capacity building that we need information on. How many participants that you intend to train or train participants in climate, resilient production and processing techniques, amongst others. Now, you provide a baseline, you provide a target, sources and means of verification, and the assumptions. And so the second one is climate resilience and innovation. We also have employment and economic impact. We have, again, digital innovation and partnership. Now, for those working on cocoa, maize, and livestock, this is the exact document that you are going to, or has been shared with you. However, for the cashew applicants, cashew value chain applicants, there are other details that we have requested from you, especially those who are already in, for example, processing. We need some business information on the capacity of installation, amongst others. So we need specific information for those who are in cashew value chain, and also climate adapted agricultural practices. You would see it in the template that has been shared with you. For those that are not on cashew, this is the exact document that you are going to see. And there are other details too that we are asking at the outcome level, where we need you to still provide this information if you have already. And that helps us to feed into our other indicators as well. So this is generally on the KPI. There is also another document which is more on the budget, but I am sure that my colleague Anya will go into details of this particular template. If you allow me, then, if you allow me, then I would go to the next slide, but I've already spoken about this in the full proposal template, and so
yes,
I'm sharing. Yeah, I've shared that in the full proposal template. So if you allow me, then I will give the floor back to Anya to continue with the finance, if that is okay.
Yes, Olivia. Yes, thank you. So before Anya comes in, just the quick demonstration for those that are in the other value chains, i.e. cocoa, livestock, and then maize, and how to access these documents. However, yes, I mean, let me go through this, and if you still have challenges, you can request, and then would be sent to you by the documents would be sent to you as attachments in your email. Yes, so permit me to share my screen. Okay, save this so that anytime you come to this page, you don't need to go back to your email to put in the password and also your username. Please let me also mention that if you are going to work in a team, for instance, your consortium partners do need access to this page for the document to also work on, or your project accountant, anybody, please kindly request access by sending us an email, and then we will create a username and then a password for the individual that you want to give access to your page for the filling. Yes, so the welcome message is here. We inform you of all what we require from you here. You scroll down to the question of when, how to send the full proposal, when and how to send the full proposal. So we've also mentioned again the deadline for the full proposal submission, and then the documents are here. So your Annex 1, which is the full proposal templates that my colleague ran you through, is here. You click on this, you get the full proposal document, and then you can download it. This is good. So when you click on it, this button gives you the access to download the file, or any other ways to download. You can also download the file from here. We come back to the page for the KPI. Also, it's here. The key performance indicators is also here. You click, and then the same process, you do the download. You can download here. You can download here as well. You save as, and then you have the Excel document to work in. For the budgets, like we mentioned earlier, it has been sent to you for the budget template has been sent to you by mail as an attachment because of the macros in it. So you don't have the budgets activated here for you to download. The memorandum of understanding as well is here. And then the same process for the full proposal, you do the same to download the memorandum of understanding. You have access to the webinars and everything also here, the tools that we spoke about, our approaches, for the learning approaches, if you want to adapt any of them in your projects. These materials are all available for you to download and then study and see how you can adapt that to suit your context. That being said, I would stop sharing my screen, and then I hand over to my colleague Anya, who would take you through the budget and then finance component. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, welcome everybody once again. I know it's a lot of information, but please bear with me. The budget part is the last part, and afterwards we'll also get to questions. So please kindly be a bit patient still, and I hope that a lot of questions will be answered already with this one. So what we wanted to do now is to come first to the commercial eligibility check, and for that one I will quickly share my screen. And yes, as we've already mentioned in the slide before that Olivia has already shown, there are some information that we will need for the commercial eligibility check. A commercial eligibility check, just to inform you, this is a normal procedure within GIZ, and for every contract that we want to have, we have to do this check before. This will determine, first of all, the legal basis on which the contract can be drawn up, but also if you are actually eligible to receive funding through a public institution. This is the big question of it all. I know this sounds always like a lot, and as you can see on the list on the screen, it's a lot of documents that we would need for that one. However, please do not worry too much. Usually these checks go like they usually do not go wrong. They just determine the type of contract that we will have for you. There are some cases, of course, where we see after this check that it's not possible to do a contract at all, but this is really the minority of cases, so do not worry about it, just cooperate, and I think everything will be good for all of us in the end. So yes, as we've seen before, and also you see in the end of the full proposal template, these are the documents you would need. They include, for example, a proof of a proven document of turnover, the information on your bank account, your tax compliance certificate, your financial statements of the past 3 years, if possible, audited. And yes, you can see the whole list, and you can also see them again in the full proposal. So please always check what you have already available, and also just this whole will just be you send the documents. We have somebody working then on the desk study determining what the documents will say for us, basically. So you only have to worry about providing the documentation. Everything else will be with us. It might be that there will be a site visit, but we will inform you about that a bit later on. Then the next slide, we come already to the budget. And there, as we said before, you have already received the budget via email. This goes for Cashew and for the other value chains as well. We experienced in the last call that a lot of people had issues with this template because it is quite a complex template. There are a lot of formulas in and also a lot of macros. And this is the reason why we wanted to go with you exactly through the whole way, how to download the budget and then how to fill it. So please follow me. I will show you once here in the presentation, and then afterwards in the budget itself how it works. Though the important part to make the macros work in the document is that you download the file and save it on your computer. Do not open the budget from the email. If you open the budget from the email, the macros will not work because your computer will think that a virus will attack your computer, which is not the case. But this is what the computer will think if you do not download it first. So please download it, save it on your computer, and then you get this yellow question here, the protected view, and you can enable it. And there, with that one, the macros will work and the whole template can be used for you. Very important. What happens if you don't do it? Then it will look like this. Then you have blocked content. Macros in this document have been disabled by your enterprise for security reasons. If you see that message, try to download the document newly and only enable the macros after you have saved it. So please always make sure it's first saved, then the macros are enabled. I know I'm stressing on this, but we had this issue a lot, so we're just trying to avoid it again. And then afterwards, you can fill the template with budget information required. And we have already done a webinar on finances for the concept note stage. And please refer to that again for all the details. I will give you some details now again, also a reminder, but the detailed one is the one that we've done in the concept note stage. So please refer to it, as well as the guideline on eligible costs that has also been provided in the download section. Both of these things are really important, and you should really take them to heart when you go into this one. Then one last thing about the price sheet. So when you get this presentation, you can also always come back to these steps. If you need a new line in the budget segment, please use this add line button. So go to the segment itself, add line, and then in this segment, a new line will come. If you want to work with a consortium partner, as most of you want to, please insert a new block, and the staff cost from that company can be accounted in this block. So this is the second one that is here, add block. So for each consortium partner, you will need one block, and there the staff cost and the travel cost will be indicated. And as promised, what I will do now is I want to show you how this whole process actually works. So for that reason, I've sent myself the budget and we'll open it now here. And if you open it, you will see, 1 second, I have to move to the other screen, exactly this protected view. But as I told you, if I click now here, it will be wrong. It will not work. So to make it work, I first save it. in the documents, let's just put it to, let's just put it to, where's the Windows 11? I will never get used to it, to this. And then you close it again and you open it newly, and then you can enable the macros. So, sorry, it's coming. So then when the macros are enabled, you can use this whole thing, and then to always test if the macros work or not, just go into one segment and add a line. And you can see the macros work because the line was added. If you don't want the line, just go into this line again and delete it. So very easy. So this is a working document, and this is also how it should look like. And please now, when you have it open like this, please use it and first fill in all the information. The title of the measure, this is the project title as on the full proposal, the country where you're from, the date, the project number you don't have to care about, the contract number either, because this is all GIZ specific, so you don't need to worry about this one. Your partner name, so the lead applicant should be here, and the currency. And here is also where it starts being different from what you've handed in at the concept note stage. At concept note stage, it was important that we have it in euro to make it comparable for everybody in this big amount of concepts that we've received. Now, when we go further into actually developing the budget, we want to have it in the local currency because the contracts will also be drawn up locally and with the local currency. Therefore, please calculate the whole budget in your currency, but try to stay with the euro budget that you had indicated in the beginning. We know there will be some fluctuations with exchange rate, so therefore we wanted to fix it basically to the moment where you hand in. This will determine the value, the euro value that you had at the at the moment you handed it in, exactly, and then convert it to the currency that you have. And this one will be the fixed one that we also will have for you for the contract in the end. From contract signature onwards, it will be a bit different, but until contract signature, it will take exactly that value so that you don't have to worry if contracts preparation takes 2 or 3 months. We will still look at the euro value that you had in the beginning. Nevertheless, this whole budget will be drawn up in your local currency. Thanks. So exactly, as I said before, you check now here for your consortium partner. So the first A should always be the lead applicant. And as I said before, if you have a consortium partner, please add a block and insert everything for the consortium partner. That should be then B. If you have 2 consortium partners, you can add another block. If you don't want the block again, delete it. This is the nice thing about macros that gives us so many issues normally, but the document, when it works quite well. Then you go in here, let's say for the lead applicant, you have your daily rate. So let's say we have Chris, our presenter, and he works for the project 20 days. So he will work at a price of, I don't know, let's say 300 CDs a day. And this will go on like this. So the next one will be, for example, Bernard, or let's say Olivia, our other presenter. She will work on the project for 35 days. And her salary will be at 350 CDs, just as an example. So like this, you go on, and you fill for all the people that you have. Important here is that you give the name or NN, but also the position. So please, the most important part here is that you indicate the position that will work in the project. This will determine later onwards how the daily rates will be estimated. So please, let's say Chris, for example, is facilitator. He's not really, but today he is. So we would just give that one as well. So please be careful with that one. The next one will be the travel expenses. So please think about what travel you need to take for this project, where this would be, and then check the allowances per day, the cost of overnight accommodation, and general travel expenses. Please let us know what this is. This can also be that you want to attend a conference that makes a lot of sense in this project. This could also be covered here. If you want to have kilometers because you have a car, this could also be covered here. Everything can be covered here. Plus, please be clear about it. The clearer you are about what you want to do, the better for us, because we can then also justify it to our contract department. And then finally, flight costs. Please indicate what you need there for the flights generally. Please note that we all fly economy in this project, as it is a climate project. So please note we only reimburse economy tickets, no business class. It's the same for us as well. And then you go further. Here you have external experts. External experts are people who will work for your project but are not hired by one of your consortium partners, meaning service providers. So for example, we have then Bernard this time. Bernard is a master trainer for FBS, let's just assume. And he works for the project for 10 days and his salary for that one is 500 CDs. So this would be how you would come in here, and you would also put all of that here. Important for the service providers is, while your staff works at the single cost, like at the cost that are actually paid to the person, here at the external experts, you can apply the market rates. Meaning, if somebody is more expensive because he is a consultant, you can also hand in this invoice for the consultant here. So if there's extra cost that he's putting into his salary, still you can use it. So that is an important distinction. But for that one to work, it has to be tendered and it has to be at least 3 people who were contacted. So always remember that you need to have 3 offers for each of the people who will work for you on an external expert basis. Whereas you can decide freely who you want to work with in your company, as it is your staff. But here we would always have to see 3 offers. The 3 offers, we don't need to see them personally. You don't have to send them to us, but you have to have them. And the audit that will take place in the end will check whether this was good or not. So it really is necessary that you do it and that you have a good documentation of it. Again, you can do the travel expenses for external staff. Same rules apply as for the internal staff. And then we come to equipment. Equipment is either assets or consumables. Important part about equipment, and this is something that I know a lot of people struggle, and we had this question, I think, in every contract that we did for the first round. So for equipment, you have to remember that these are public funds that we now transfer to a private enterprise. All of you, I think, most of you definitely, I guess all of you are actually private sector, meaning we have to apply some special rules because it's still public funds that comes from the taxpayer. This means if we want to fund an equipment 100% in this project, that we buy this we buy the equipment now, we want to fund it 100%, then this equipment would have to be handed over to a public partner in the end, to the community, because this is a public benefit project. So this should not be equipment that stays in your company to then get profit for you. It can have profit in the time we're using it in this project, but in the long term, it has to be handed over. If you do not want to hand over your equipment at the end, which is also understandable because it is a big investment, for example, or you need it for other things, this is possible, but then you do not put it to equipment, but you put its depreciation cost for 18 months. That is the period we're working with this time. So the depreciation cost for 18 months, you put into it this one to other cost. Then you can keep the equipment after the contract ends. This is very, very important, and please remember that one. We will check in every budget what you want to do with the equipment, and we will also follow up if it is handed over. So please be sure how you want to handle it. For consumables, you can still put them here. It's a bit easier. I see that I should explain it again, so I just very quickly, equipment, you have 2 options. First one is you keep it in your company, but then you can only apply depreciation rates, or you fund it fully within this project, 100%, then you have to hand it over to a public partner or the community after this project. So it cannot stay in your company. These are the two options that are available. There is no other option. So just decide when you draw up the whole budget, what you want to do, if you have a public partner where it can go to, and will definitely already be helpful. And if you don't do it now, the question will latest come when we when we have the first budget check. So then we will latest come to you and ask, if you put a full equipment here, who do you want to hand it over to? So please always make sure that we know. And then finally, after we've done equipment, we go to other cost, and with other cost, you can definitely hand in everything you need, what is usually an other cost. Important is, if you plan any training, and I think most of you do, every training cost belongs here. And please do not put training and then put an amount, but put training, accommodation, training, venue, training, printing. Like, put all of them separately so we know what exactly it entails and what we also need to look out for in the end. As I said before, depreciation is also included here. So if you want to keep the equipment, put the depreciation rates for 18 months in here. As I said, workshop costs, it's the same as training. So please just be clear what you actually need to fund here. And very important, please provide for at least 2 audits funds. 1 audit is a maximum at 3,500 euros per audit. So please put the funds available for 2 audits in this budget. So this is a must. Everybody has to plan for it. Just look at the rates that are typical in your country and then look at what you would put to get 2 audits. For audits, it's the same procedure as for an external expert. So you would have to have 3 offers and choose the best one or the most economical one. But with the difference that for the auditor, we have to give a final go-ahead before we go into the contract with them. The reason for that is that there are blacklists existing, and if the auditor would be on the blacklist of GIZ, we cannot give the go-ahead. So we would first check with the country office if it's possible to take this auditor, give you the okay, and then you can draw up the contract. I know this is a lot of information right now, so do not worry too much, because all of this information will come to you again, and also in the guideline of eligible costs, you can find everything that I have said now as well. If you have specific questions to your project, again, please reach out to us via email. We're always happy to help. And then before I finalize here, I just remembered there's one very important point, and this is the cost sharing. So all contracts that we do here are so-called integrated development partnership projects. And this means that each of the budget lines will be shared by the partners. And it doesn't mean that, for example, GIZ takes over all of training and the partner takes over all of their staff cost. But each of the budget lines that is indicated in this budget will be shared to the agreed upon percentage. And you have to show this percentage here. For Cashew, the percentage is at 60% partner share and 40% GIZ share, at least, or more for the partner. For the other value chains, it's at 50-50. So here, let's say you have a contract share of 60% for the partner and 40% for GIZ. Please hand in 60, and you will see that all the costs you have indicated will be separated into these 2 columns directly. You only have to fill this one, but everything will be separated, and then the final contract share of GIZ will be the last column. And this is also the amount that we have agreed upon according to your concept note that you should try to target. As I said, the euro value in your local currency. And then finally, please, the date and signature, it's enough if you sign it electronically. Just give your name that we know who we're dealing with here. And yes, save it, put it to your documents, and we will contact you very surely if there's any questions from our side when we receive the budget. If you have questions, you're always free to come to us. And before I close, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder. So the guideline of eligible cost, as I told you before, this is already existing. And please read it carefully, because it will give you a lot of information what you can actually put in the budget and what not. and also the webinar that we have recorded for the concept note stage that you can find here when you follow this link. As we have, as we will send you the presentation, you can just follow the link if you need it. And as I said before, the important point is that all of the contracts will be established as the IDPP implementation agreement. So we will give you most likely advanced payments. In some cases, we might reimburse, but this will be a case-to-case decision that will depend on the commercial eligibility check. And you, the lead applicant, will then have the legal obligation to manage and report on the funds according to GIZ standards. That is very, very important. And then, as I said before, each budget line will be distributed between the consortia part, private contribution, and GIZ to the agreed upon shares. And yes, as I said, the budget template gives you a very good overview. And then finally, just a reminder, what are eligible costs for this project? Only direct costs with no markups can be covered, and only costs that really occur during the contract term. So if the contract will be delayed, sadly, if you already start activities, we cannot account for them. So please make sure that whatever you want to have reimbursed in the end, or what you want to cover with the advance payments, is within the contract term. And then, for example, eligible costs are the remuneration for your employees, the fees for the external experts, the travel expenses, air tickets, the cost of materials and equipment with the explanation that I gave, that you have to hand them over. The cost of capital goods, that, by the way, an important point that I did not make clear enough in the beginning, together with equipment, it should be most 30% of contract value. So if you go for the decision that you actually have the equipment and funded fully by this project, then this one will at most be possible to finance at 30% of the total contract value. Very important point. With depreciation, it's easier. So another reason why you should think about how you want to fund the equipment. And then other costs, as I've already explained. Ineligible costs are, for example, sales and distribution costs, including advertising costs. So if you want to put advertising on your products, sadly, we cannot take this over. The municipal trade tax, the cost of independent research and development. And as I said before, please check the guidelines on costs eligible for reimbursement for an extensive list of what is not possible to reimburse. And with that one, I come also to the end of the finance presentation, and we come to the end of the full presentation. Thanks a lot, and I would give the word back to Chris.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anya. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. Yes. Like Anya said, colleagues, Olivia also mentioned this quite overloaded, but to be frank, when you take your time to go through, you realize that it follows a simple common trend that should be easy for you to work with. However, as colleague rightly said, we are available. We will be very happy to help you at any stage. So let's not be overwhelmed and be alarmed by the long processes and then details of the technical and then the financial side. Everything should be too easy so far as you are ready to contact us for the questions and or responses. Already I see hands up. Yes. So we will take questions, but what I would do is we will take questions in batches. We will take first 2 questions, then colleagues will come in, or I'll do with 3. Then colleagues will come in to respond. If you also want your question in a chat, already I've seen some questions in the chat box which have been addressed. You can also put your question in the chat. Kindly, yes, we have activated the microphone button now. I'll call you, then you please would introduce yourself, where you're speaking from, and then your organization. Then you go ahead with your question. First person I have here is Johnson T. Please, Johnson, I take you, then Saiku will come in, and then the third person is Jackson. Thank you. Johnson, over.
Thank you. My name is Meata Johnson, representing Tusa Farm from Liberia. The question or perhaps comment I have is related to the budget sheet and the markers that you guys spoke about. I followed the procedure that was presented and downloaded the sheet before opening. And when I click enable, it is still telling me that Microsoft has blocked Macrons from running because the source of this file is untrusted. So, yeah, that is my concern. I don't know what procedure I can take, whether the problem is from my end or what is happening, but perhaps if you guys could kindly address that, I will appreciate it. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you, Johnson. So Anya will note this down and then respond. Saiku, please. Johnson, kindly lower your hand now. Thank you. Saiku or Seiku. I'm sorry if I'm not getting your name right. Please unmute. Your microphone is muted. Okay. Jackson, I take Jackson. Jackson Imokpari. Okay.
Okay.
Please, I can see you are speaking, but your microphone is
Hello, can you
muted.
hear me?
Good, thank you, can hear you.
Yeah, this is Jackson.
Please, Jackson,
Yeah,
go
good.
ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jackson from Nigeria, from Supertech Foods. I have a very quick question. From the feedback we got from Giz spoke about talking about that, you know, one of the feedback we had our concepts had production and also processing for maize value chain. And part of the feedback was the project is too ambitious, and we should focus on either on production or on processing. However, when I was going through some of the documents online, I saw some concerns where they spoke of it seems as though we are as though it's more interested in value chain addition and access to markets than primary production. So I don't know if peradventure we choose to focus on primary production, if that puts us at any form of disadvantage. Because there's also a section that says, note that the priority of the grants is to increase value addition and market access in the agricultural sector and not primary production. So that became a little bit confusing. I need to get clarity to know if peradventure we decide to focus on primary production, if that puts us at an advantage, considering most of these comments that we've gotten from the document or reading online. Thank you, and over.
Good, thank you, Jackson. So I can see Saiku is still speaking, but Jackson, your case, what will happen is that colleagues will contact you and then have bilateral discussion, because this is specific comment to your application. We try to narrow questions to the process of the full proposal application at this stage. So kindly revert back to us in the mail, but we've also noted, and then we will have that bilateral discussion with you to address your issue. Anya, please, do you want to pick the first question from Johnson, Tusa Farms, Nigeria, regarding the budget templates? Then I would call Samuel after that. Thank you.
Yes, sure. So yes, we've had it a lot of times that it did not work still, even though you followed the procedure. My one recommendation would be to save it on different spots of your computer. So actually, if you save it on like local spots like the desktop, it usually works best. If it still is not working and everything you've been following the steps exactly, please let us know and send a screenshot of the exact message that it sends, and we will see if it's possible to do that. And if it's still not possible, then there is a simplified budget, but the simplified option is not really better. Let's just put it like that. It is quite complicated for us and for you to fill. So we'd hope that it will work with the macros. If not, we can still have this other option.
Good. Thank you. I saw the thumbs up from Johnson. I believe she's answered. Samuel, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Samuel, representing Mastawal Dairy Farm from Ethiopia. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think, Sanya, we have also the similar problem with this, with the price schedule. That is, we try to save also in different areas, like in the desktop and the others, but it's not working. So I hope it is clear it's not the problem with one side. Okay, so I think it would help us to give us a clear description on that one. And the second question is, can we have any contact person, or can we write a message while we are developing the full proposal for any help that we want, or is that not allowed to contact any person from your side?
Okay, thank you.
Over to you.
Yes, thank you. The question is noted, Samuel. Colleague Olivia will take that up. But before that, I see, is it once for her? Yes, okay, Cyrus, please.
Can you hear me? Hi, everyone.
Oh, Cyrus, okay. Please, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No. One, there is echo,
Can you
and
hear
then the
me?
network.
My network, maybe my network.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay, good. Thank you. My name is Chiruza Biraikonesfo from DRC. I'm the CEO of Agri-Mod, and I'm working on maize value chain. I have a question regarding the budget. Considering the email that I received from you, you had added some comments saying that consider the fund requested 50,000 euro, provide more focus in the food proposal. Of course, I worked on
Cheruza, we are losing you. The network is. Hello, Cheruza. Could you please put your question in the chat box, because your network is still not strong. We are struggling to hear you.
Okay, maybe. Okay, good,
yes.
Good.
Yes, you can type it, please.
Okay, good.
Yes, thank you. I still see Saiku's hand, but maybe we take the.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, thank you. I'm in Finland. My contributing partner is in Gambia. So I want to ask, is it possible to adjust your consortium partner, during the concept development phase, or the primary consortium partner, you are sure that you couldn't get the requisite documents, and the concept may fail if you don't provide all the necessary documents, but later the primary consortium partner got the documents? Is it possible to adjust and get a second consortium partner? Because I felt that they are the most appropriate, or it's the most appropriate partner in the whole of the project.
Okay, thank you, Saiku. So All right, so we get the responses first from Samuel. Samuel wants to know who to contact. Olivia, do you want to take this? Who to contact if they want support, assistance in the development of the full proposal?
Okay, thank you very much, Chris, and thank you all for your questions that have come in so far. If you have any questions specific to Cashew, then it should go to cashew@giz.de. I already put the email address in the chat so that you can easily find it. If you have questions on cocoa, maize, and livestock, abf-fund@giz.de. You should send it and we'll promptly respond to all of it. Just like we answered for Jackson, if you have specific questions which go beyond email explanation, or if it's not clear via email, then we'll push to have a short session with you to clarify things. At the end of the day, like I said, we try not to provide more information to some than we are doing for all. We try to provide equal information to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Yes, so there is a question from Saku. Yes, Saku's second question, which is on the, is it possible to adjust consortium partner? I don't know, Bernard, Veronica, Anya, colleagues who want to take this up. Okay, Bernard, kindly. And then Bernard, all right, so you finish this, then there is another question in the chat box that I would like to read after. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, can you hear me? It's like also my camera is not functioning, but I cannot speak up. Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, we are at a full proposal step. I think you also receive some comment, recommendation from both our evaluation committee and also the MGF board. Those are very important to consider to now elaborate properly the full proposal. And regarding the question, if a consortium partner could be changed, it's possible because it will depend now, considering all our comment and the question, also how you are seeing better your proposal to come in. It will depend on that one, and if you see that there's a possibility to bring on board consortium partner who better respond to those aspects to get more elaborated full proposal, I think is doable.
Okay, thank you. Yes, there is a question in the chat from Alves, but I see Alves' hand here. So Alves, kindly take your question, and maybe you can add what you have in the chat box, even as colleagues also try to answer what is in the chat box.
Thank you, Christian. Good afternoon. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can be here.
Yes, I'm calling from Mozambique, in Kilimane. I was going through the template of the full proposal. In many of the spaces, the number of words provided are not enough. For example, in the relevance, you have placed 1,500 words, but when you edit, when you write, you just get 250, which gives a very big limitation on how to give details as requested, because in the relevance, for example, there are many questions which they need to be clarified, but there is a limitation to bring all those information. And also, when I went into the link, we only have the full proposal template and the memorandum of understanding, but the Annex 2 and the Annex 3 is not available. I would like to hear who can we contact. We can use the same email to get these annexes which are provided here. And at last, I'm very sorry because if you have explained, I have joined a bit late. I had problems of internet. Then, thank you.
Thank you, Alves. Thank you. I'll take Vision Storage Facility. Vision Storage Facility, kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. We're happy to participate as after the pre-selection of the concept note, and I would like to ask if possible, so that you can link us with maybe past cohort winners of the fund here in Rwanda, so that we can learn more of correctness and preparedness of the documents from their side, if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not see any more hands, so colleagues who want to take question from Alves regarding the limitation, the word limits, and then also some missing documents in the website.
I can start.
Okay,
Thank you, Osvaldo from Mozambique, Tutube. For you have to look carefully. The template is talking about a character, not the words. What is tricky there? It's a number of characters, not a number of words. It's not the same. If you take the number of characters, so you come to the 1,500 that we put there. Then we want you to be concise, precise. So why we limited you with those window to not to go. If you know what you want, you don't need to make it too long. And also is very helpful to our EC members or evaluation committee members to come to a good examination or evaluation assessment of your document. It was I don't know if it's okay. You can cross check again. You see it's a characters, not words. The second question regarding missing, you cannot access annex 2 and 3. You said the annex 3, I think, is concerning the price schedule. We sent these already per email, but I'm preparing again all documents to send again once per email. Although we want you to have access to our restricted area that permit you to have many other documents, all the webinars, the recording. Is why we direct you there. But I know that many of you are struggling with this login issue. Then the most important or the document you need to fill, we will send you again per email. Also, contain all the attached the price schedule of this thing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bernard. There's a question from Vision. Vision Storage Facility regarding if we can connect them to some of the old successful applicants from our previous call. Anya, you want to take this? Is this possible? Is this something we want to do? Or Olivia?
Olivia?
Okay, maybe I start. I think what we have done is that we have published a list of all the applicants who were successful on the website. So you can have a look and then use your networks to also reach out to them if it's necessary, because we also need their permission to share their contacts. Sorry, someone has to mute.
Yes.
Yeah, I think before we share anyone's contact, we also need their permission. So for a first step, I would say have a look at the list that we have published on the website. if there are companies that you already know in your country, you can take the lead. But yeah, Anya?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes, so Vision Storage, kindly lower your hand. Yes, so the question from Chiruza, you don't remember Chiruza tried speaking his question and we could not hear. So Chiruza literally wants to know if first it's about a comment that was sent regarding their application and the budgets, but from the end, the understanding I get in his chat is it possible to adjust the budgets that they stated in the concept note, for example, 50,000, and now they want to adjust it to 100,000. Teresa, if I got your question right, kindly give me a thumbs up so that our finance technical team would address the question. Yes. So, Anya, is this possible in the concept notes 550,000, and they may double this to 100,000 at the full proposal stage?
It's a tricky question because this is a special case. Normally, no. Normally, we stay with the budget that you have applied for in the concept note stage, because the concept was with the budget attached, evaluated, and we said, okay, for this money, this outcome, this is great. So this is the reason why we usually say we stick with the budget that we have. In your case, and I do not know the answer yet, we will come back to you on that one. If the project was good but too ambitious, and now we said that the budget is too low for it, we need to go back into it if it's possible to double it. 100,000 is the maximum, so that would still be in there, but I cannot give you a concrete answer without discussing with my colleagues before, so we will come back to that via email.
Okay. All right, thank you. So there is a question to you, Olivia, in the chat box. Okay, Eric wants to know that is it possible to be shortlisted at this stage and will still not progress to the contracting stage?
Okay. Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you, Eric, for your question. Yes, it's possible to be at this stage and not qualify because the full proposals will still be evaluated. And so based on the result of the evaluation, we will let you know. And it depends on a number of factors that we are considering. It's not just your document, also the CAP. All of this informs the final decision in the interviews, which we have also stated. So it's not automatic that all those on this call will be considered for contracting, unfortunately. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not see any hand. Is there any particular question in the chat box that I missed that some colleagues want to bring? I've seen that. Yes, Anya, you have attempted answering almost all the questions. Thank you very much. Don't know if I missed any question. Please, yes, floor is still open for questions. So if you have questions regarding the presentation so far, please. Again, this session is being recorded, and we are going to share this in our website for you, so you can go back, download, and then listen for clarity in everything that you want to do regarding this stage. The two email addresses for your concerns, should you require any extra support from our team, have also been shared in the chat box. So you can copy them. And then also, I think it's the same email that was used to send you the attachments and all that. Colleagues from ABF and MOVE, is there something you want to add? Something you want to say? Okay, Bernard, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Sorry that I cannot open my camera. It's something wrong here. But yeah, thank you. Thank colleagues for the great job, and thank all applicants for this nice session. What I would like to maybe say before we close, it's that you see we talk about 52 application now for all the value chain still in the process, but it's not it's still a competition. I want to highlight this one. It's not done. That not means that you will get it. Means that you have to take seriously this step now development of full proposal, considering all the comments you receive from the evaluation committee members and also from the board. And also now take the full proposal template is different to the concept note and go more in detail, concise, precise, and make a really good case to be the next winners, I would like to say. That means it's don't make it how to say it light. Don't take it like okay, now I'm full and then I will get it. It's not. We have experience from the first cohort. People did it like this, but they were finally rejected and they were not happy. But it will depend on how seriously we consider now this step. And we are doing our best. 2 hours we gave you all our expertise, and also we offer you our expertise for the upcoming weeks. So if you have any question, our door are open, but everything will depend on you now to get full. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernard. I think I'm getting some questions coming in. Is it possible to add a consortium partner that was not included? I think this has been answered. It is a yes. Yes, a consortium partner that wasn't added in the concept note development and at the full proposal stage, if you feel their services would be needed, you would need them in the project. Yes, you can include, you can add. There's a question here, when are we meant to start the project activity after contracts? Okay, Olivia, Anya,
I had answered it in the chat already.
Okay.
However, we usually assume that activities start right after signature. Nevertheless, if there is an issue with that and you need some time between signature and activity starting, let us know. We can adjust for that. That's possible in the contract. So you have a passage in there where you would set out when exactly the activities would commence. Just for your information, though, from experience, the contracts take some time. So if you rather think that your implementation start might be a bit later, it is quite realistic that we also will have that later one. So don't be worried about that one. But yes, definitely just let us know. Communicate and we can usually make everything possible.
Okay, thank you. Felix Pastor, I see your hand. Felix, kindly. Please go ahead and ask your question. Thank you.
Okay. For example, a company that is 2 years old may not be able to produce a 3-year audited account. In that case, is it a point of disqualification?
Anya?
It's not a point of disqualification because otherwise we would have had to exclude all startups. It will be revised in the commercial eligibility check, and the consultant who will do that will probably check a few other things to make sure that you would be eligible to get the funds via the contract that we foresee. If there is really an issue that we see that comes from the fact that your company has not been on the market for long, there's another contract format that we could maybe use, but we will have a look at that when it comes to the point. But it's not an immediate disqualification, no.
Okay. Thank you, Anya. There is a question in the chat from Matt. Matt wants to know the definition of the internal control documents that we're talking about in the documents we should send for the KEP. He's asking, is it the same as a policy manual or, for instance, a safeguarding or HR policy manual? Are these regarded as internal control documents?
They are regarded as internal control documents. However, what we mean here is rather the internal control of finances and accounts, meaning there if you have procedures, if you have standard operating procedures, especially to go via the internal checks of your accounts. Do you have the 4I principle applied? Do you have all of this is the question what you have here, and any guideline that you have on that, anything signed in your company that is according to the internal control system that is existing without you being externally reviewed at that point would be considered as an internal control document.
Okay, thank you, Anya. Basta, I still see your hand up. Is it a new question or is it old one? If the old one, kindly.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. There's a question in the chat from Cycle, but I'm not sure I understand his question. Do you accept proposal after review to adjust to cut across the different intervention areas? Please, colleagues, if anyone do understand this question, you can respond, please. Or maybe you want to throw...
He can unmute and come clear.
If you can throw more lights, exactly. Sai, could you want to throw more light on your question? Okay, Jackson, please. I see your hand, Jackson. Finally.
Say you
Hello, Jackson.
Say you are awarded or your review is in let's say May, and you realize that okay, I'm dealing with can you hear me? A rural community.
Hello. Okay. Hello. Is this Circle speaking?
Yes.
Circle, I think you have the call open in 2 devices, and we're getting echo feedback. Can you please either put one off or the microphone? Yes. So I take you again, Cycle, then Jackson comes in. Hello. Okay, so Jackson, please go ahead.
So okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. So I had I needed clarity. I heard one of the presenters talking about publication of successful applicants or shortlisted applicants. I don't need clarity. Are they referring to us, or is it after the contract has been signed, or at this shortlisted stage that the successful applicants will be published on the website?
Okay, thank you. Yes, so she was referring to the successful applicants in the first and in our second call, those that we have contracted, that we have published in our website. And that was in reference to a question on if the current applicants can have contacts of those successful ones that we have contracted from last call, so that they can also come into guide. So this is, I don't know if I have clarified for you, not your group, but the previous ones that we have contracted. Thank you. So do you still want to come back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
let's say your proposal was reviewed. Oh no, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's say your proposal was reviewed. Let's say your proposal was reviewed on the livestock, and could you adjust your final plan to include, let's say, maize?
Okay.
Okay, I think I get the question. Sorry,
Okay.
I'll mute you quickly, Sekou. So I think the question is if the proposal has been initially reviewed under the livestock value chain, but now he wants to include another of the value chain in the proposal, like maize, if this is possible. And I think what would be possible is to, if you still stick with the same budget and project idea, to include activities on maize. However, the main focus should stay with the value chain that you have indicated in the first application. So you can include activities if you stay with the overall budget and the overall project idea, but it would make sense to, not would make sense, it's obligatory to stay within the value chain as a main value chain that you've indicated in the beginning, because this is also dependent on funding that we get.
Yes, thank you, Anya. The link to the already contracted partners has been shared in the chat box, so you can have access to this. Yes, so I do not see any more hands. We have 7 minutes left on this call. Okay, I still do not see any more questions. Colleagues, final words. ABF, one from ABF, one from Move. Thank you, Veronica, please.
I would like to, there is one more hand up. Maybe we allow, even though it's late.
Yes. So I will allow you, Denise. Denise, kindly come in with your question, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm Denise Kawe from Liberia, and I'm super excited to be part of this team. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. I want to find out if you can create a WhatsApp group chat so that all of the applicants from different countries will be able to connect there, and share. Because this is a whole network building. We are from Liberia. We have other people from Ghana, from other places. If we create that network, it will link me to know what somebody is doing in Ghana. It will link me to in other parts of the world. Is that possible? WhatsApp group?
Thank you, Denise. Your question is very clear. Veronica will add this to her final words for ABF. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise, for this question, and thank you for the spirit. Please stay motivated as you are. As colleagues mentioned, we are still in the competitive phase, so it may be a bit difficult to create a WhatsApp group at this stage. But hopefully most of you will be confirmed and done with the contracting. We definitely foresee different ways to exchange. We see based on your also motivation and based on your discussions, we can foresee different platforms, and I think that's really the spirit that we also would like to foster, that these exchanges keep going and you can also connect with each other. Even you can connect potentially with the first and the second call. Let's say winners, the ones that are already partnering with us in this endeavor on implementing projects.
under the business support facility for climate resilient agricultural value chains. So I hope that answers your question. So for now, there is no WhatsApp group. All information are shared with individuals, also will be shared with everyone. So we want to keep the information goes transparent. Of course, there were some very specific individual questions or individual comments where we of course we will have to respond to you individually, but all the general comments will be shared with everyone. And then this stage, I would like to thank my colleagues who were here very, very late, at least way beyond the usual working times. So Chris, Olivia, Anya, Bernard, all the colleagues who supported in setting up this webinar. Thank you so much for sharing all the information and your valuable insights, and hopefully enabling participants to write very good full proposal, prepare the documents very well, and please don't forget to collaborate with the consultants who are doing this commercial, legal, and administrative eligibility checks, because good collaboration starts already now at this stage. And yes, finger crossed that everything will go smoothly, and we see you also in the very final stages. So I wish you all the best, and yes, please, let's have a good run until the 3rd of November. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Is this for both MOVE and ABF? Or okay, I see Olivia nodding her head. Yes. So thank you. Thank you, our potential partners, for making time. 2 hours from a private sector is quite a big one. So to have you here to exchange, and we hope to receive a very solid full proposals from you, and then we will be waiting to engage you bilaterally. Thank you all. Have a good afternoon, good evening, and a good night wherever you find yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All the best to all of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.